I hope our presenters are ready. We're going to be beginning in just a minute. Today's webinar, of course, will be, as indicated in the screen, will be about men's mental health, and we'll be focusing mostly on breaking the silence and seeing the strength in having ability. Today's presenters, I hope they are ready. Okay, I can see that Arthur has given a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'm going to begin up with introductions. We are going to be introducing our panelists for this session. I'm going to begin with Mr. Arthur. Mr. Arthur, please take over. Oh, before you begin, Mr. Arthur, sorry, I've been reminded for a short prayer. I'd like to everybody please humble themselves before we start off. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to make time for this session. And most importantly, thank you for everybody that has turned up today, and all participants, knowledge and understanding this session so that we can use it to impact our families, communities, and every nation in the world. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen. So with the prayer done, I'd like to call on Mr. Arthur. And if you don't mind, Mr. Arthur, is it okay if I be controlling your presentation this side, or would you like to set it directly so that I give you first controls?
I think it's better you help me control them since you have them, so we can work together.
Super, awesome. So, yes, the chair and the floor is yours, Mr. Arthur. We'll start off with an introduction.
Good afternoon, good morning. I'm so happy and glad to be here. I hope my volume is fine and everyone can confirm that they can hear me well. Alan, are you hearing me well? Is my audio okay?
Yes, I can hear you quite well.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm a member of the board of Free Mind Hive, and I am a practitioner of law. I practice law, and I'm an attorney at law. I run a firm with colleagues called ASB Advocates. We are located in Ntinda. I am also a pastor of a church called Brook of Hope. I am married to Crispa Ayodechile. We have three children, Alvin, Alisa, and Adeline. Range is between 14 and 4 of age. I also serve on the board of Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. And I am so glad to be here to talk about issues of men. I belong to a group of men, accountability group of men called Extraordinary Gentlemen. We started after we finished campus, we started accounting or started a platform of men We were 16 then, now we are around 40. And our cardinal role was to create a platform where men share their issues, expose their vulnerability, or where they are getting challenges. And we are counting on 3 areas of family, faith, and finances. And that's we have been doing that, I think, for the last 15 years, where we have exposed ourselves to one another. We have been vulnerable to one another. We have given each other the ability to look you straight in the eye and tell you that what you're into is wrong or is right, to affirm, to confirm, to critique, to criticize, to stand with one another in all ways. And that has helped us to talk about our issues. So for today's discussion, I think it fits in well with what I've been observing as a leader of that group, but also as a pastor, as a father, as a man, as a person that has been also counseling people legally, because I also handle several court proceedings involving men, divorce proceedings, and at all areas we see men die in silence. So we are going to look at a few things, and by trying to see how we can break the silence, we want to see how we find strength in vulnerability. I think, Alan, if you could give me the slide on the objectives of what we can achieve from here, it would be great. Then we run through. When men or boys are born, society seem to give them a toolbox. And that toolbox is full of hardware or hard substances. Some of these, they give them hard things that are supposed to strengthen them, make them strong, make them, the society toolbox is of men are supposed to be strong. Even when they are giving them toys, they give them cars, they give them robots, they give them strong things to play with, because society expects them to be hard and they are not supposed to be showing any weakness. And so juxtaposing that with a toolbox that is given to young girls, dolls, soft materials, they have things to rub themselves with. So you see, society's expectation is that men are supposed to be hard, strong, courageous, not to express any emotions. And that is what we are dealing with. That is, we must look for ways on how to break this. So in this discussion, we want to look at a few things. How do we understand the unique mental health challenges that men face? How do we identify these barriers and see how do we seek help? For all these are supposed to help us to find ways on how we can find support, peer support, supporting one another, but also supporting those that need our help. I am receiving feedback. I don't know where it is coming from. So there is that illustration. It's of a tree, and I think it speaks to what men go through. Men that look
Sorry,
down.
Arthur. Nico.
Yes, please.
No, I was trying to ask someone to do what? To to mute. When we have someone mute talking, that's when. Okay, now you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So when men don't talk about their issues, they die inside. They dry up. And if you look at that plant, it is looking down. It is coiling inside and it is dying from inside. Uh, and so we have a challenge on how do we allow men to look up and they are able to share what they are going through for purposes of getting support. So there are some researches that have been done over time, but I also will encourage us that we go and try to look out for these statistics. Maybe you're not yet affected, or you actually don't know that you are affected mentally, or you have mental health to deal with. You have issues that you don't want to talk about, and you don't want anyone to know. So what 1,000 men said about their mental health, the biggest causes of mental health, they were work pressure, work-related pressure, and the statistics show 32% of men are showing that their biggest causes of mental health are work-related. The expectations of work from men are too high. I see from my workplace, when I get applicants, the statistics show that women, they stay longer on their work positions for reasons that maybe we will discover later. And so even employers now are looking at employing more ladies than men, because the men, they seem to be they want to juggle so very many things. You have very divided attention when you have a gentleman working for you. And the reasons are known. They have very many expectations. They have very many demands from them. And so they can't even concentrate on one job. They are juggling 3 or 4 jobs because they have to show some ability to thrive in society. Others, they say they arise from financial issues. 31% of men say that their mental health issues arise from finance-related issues, and others from their health. So you realize that 40% of this research, they say that Priori was a research that was carried out, and I think it was running as part. They normally come up with a report every year on different areas, but this time they were zeroing down on men. So 40% of men say they have never spoken to anyone about their mental health. 77% have suffered with symptoms of negative mental health. That staggering percentage is so high. And you see, 40% polled and said it would take thoughts of it takes thoughts of suicide or self-harm to compel them to seek professional help. If you ask 100 men between paying 100,000 and talking about their mental issues, 99 of those men will say, I would rather pay 100,000 than talking about my issues. If you increase it to 1 million, you might get 80% of men saying, I would rather pay 1 million than talk about what I am going through. So the biggest analysis that we have to carry out is, how do we get men to break the silence? It's a very big question that we need to begin talking about, and the space that we are in now is to help us talk about these issues. Alan, if you could give me the next slide. So there is a gentleman called Frida George. He also carried out a research and analysis and it's called The Silent Struggle. And I read his material, and I just give maybe 5 strong points that I picked from that book. He said that nearly 1 to 10 men experience some form of depression or anxiety, but less than half seek treatment. Even when you look at medical, just medical, not mental health referrals, a man will go to a hospital almost at the verge of saying that I can't stand, I can't eat, and the condition is alarming. I even see this between me and my wife. My wife would be okay getting money just to do a body checkup, but it would take me a lot of convincing to go to a doctor, even to go and say, I just want a checkup. I only do a checkup if I realize that I am in a very critical condition. And this is coming from somewhere. And this is what we are going to be discussing. So Frida made, I think we had also borrowing percentages from priori research. It says that 77 men polled suffering with symptoms of common mental health conditions, like we said. 29 of those, they say that they are too embarrassed to speak about it, while 20 say there is a negative stigma on the issue. The biggest cause of mental health issues in men's lives are work, finances, and health. So you see, work 32%, finances 31%, and health 23%. And 40% of these, they say that they carry suicidal thoughts and self-harm. And this is a very big percentage that we can't just leave there standing unattended. So among the things that Frida talked about, he talked about breaking the stigma around men's mental health. And one of the things he says, societal expectations. Like I said earlier, society expects men to carry like a tortoise's skin of masculinity. Now, this is with strength, and they say you're not supposed to express any form of emotions. So if you're just going to say, let's say you have walked in a hall and you found a lady crying. If it is a fellow lady, they will quickly go and get a tissue or get a cloth, talk to them, see how they are going to ask what's going on. She will be able to open up and talk about her issue. If it is a man, they will either come and say, can I help? They will either give them also something that they have to help them get up to something like that. But if the same situation, you find a man crying, a woman will say, look at this, what's wrong with this man? They will not even get near them. A fellow man will say, look at this that was brought out badly. Most likely, no one will even pay attention to them. They might even call security when it is a man crying. So society itself, there is a lot of stigma. There is a lot of societal expectations. So this stigma discourages men from expressing vulnerability or seeking help. Because when you're growing up, they tell you, man up, be a man, be strong, don't cry, don't be a sissy. And these are piling up on a boy child from childhood until when they grow up. And before we know it, we are losing them. I think it was last year when one of very big marketing professional in Kampala jumped off a building and fell down. I think it was like 5-storied, and committed suicide and died. His friends said that he had tried to reach them and say, I needed to talk. And they're saying, I don't have time, maybe next week or sometime. So no one was paying attention to him. Maybe he wanted to open up and talk about his issue. But those platforms are not available to him because the only reason is that he is a man. So this has prolonged suffering, and challenging these outdated norms is essential to foster an environment where men feel safe to discuss their mental issues openly. So at the end of this, if we could come up with one action point, would be how do we create safe spaces for men to speak, to break the silence? The second area that I picked from Frida was redefining masculinity. And this is with authenticity and vulnerability. So society sees masculinity through strength is in showing yourself strong, not crying, not expressing emotions, being bold, being courageous, in sense of you don't want to talk about what you're going through. But true strength lies in authenticity and being vulnerable. Embracing vulnerability allows men to connect more deeply with themselves and others. You see, some of the platforms that are available, they seem to come to fix what is broken. I might say there is nothing broken. Men, they don't need to be fixed. I believe they want, how do they get out of what they have been taught or shown to be and showcase in society. So talking about their issue might not even be needing a solution, but allowing them to express what they are going through is maybe going to be the first platform. So it shouldn't be a platform of helping fixing men. No, it is how do we help men to express authenticity and vulnerability concerning their issues. And these platforms are everywhere. You even see it when a boy child is getting married, is wedding, and a girl child is getting married. They have bridal showers. They have all these platforms. Everyone wants to talk to a woman, showing them what they are going through. But in one way or the other, they say that the boy child will find it out. You will find the way out. You will get solutions. No one wants to talk about them. Even premarital counselings, they seem to be more on what a man should do to handle a woman. But no one tells them how they should handle themselves. Because in one way or the other, they will figure it out. They will know how they are going to handle. The other area is understanding the pressures and parental expectations. Men, we normally face immense pressure to perform and meet societal standards. Out of 100 men, they will tell you that the pressures that the society is putting on them are unprecedented. When you finish campus as a young man, everyone expects you to find work and begin being independent. That is good because we are raising men, but it is harmful on the other side. Then the pressures are find what to do, find a wife, marry, begin a family. And the pressures seem to be lessened to a girl child. A girl child will only move out of their father's home or their parents' home when either they are getting married even saying that go and begin renting. Actually, at a young man of 20, everyone expects you to get out of your father's home, whether you have work, whether you have what to eat, and everyone will say you will be okay. And in that you will be okay has exposed men to pressures. And that you'll be okay means no one is going to give you any money. Everyone expects. I've seen degree holders climb up buildings as porters because they have to be men. They have to perform. And this has raised stress and depression in very many men. So recognizing these pressures is the first step towards addressing their impact on mental health and developing healthier coping mechanisms. The Lord has impressed on my heart. I've been talking with a number of mentors. We are organizing a platform where we want to be having breakfast every month with young university people, just men. Just talk about life ready. We used to have a platform called Campus Ready, but we did something of life ready. How do we prepare these young men to be ready for life? Because society is not touching them with soft gloves. Society is so hostile to men through these expectations. The other area is how do we build resilience? And we get this emotional self-awareness. Because if you don't mind about your mental health, no one is going to. And the first step is how do you become aware? And you start building resilience. Developing emotional intelligence and self-awareness enables men to navigate their feelings effectively. You see, we have been told not to express any emotion. I saw it at the beginning of end of January. My uncle, my paternal uncle, the last born of my father, the last born the last brother of my father, same mother. My grandfather was a polygamist, so I'm talking about that nuclear of same father, same mother. Their last born was murdered end of January, and he was from doing some things in a trading center, and guys killed him in the night and dragged him to his compound. It was so nasty. But I was on that funeral. I didn't cry at all. Yet he was one of my favorite uncles, if I could say. The wife started telling me of emotions that I started. One, I started being good. Like a month after the death of my uncle, I started something that my wife said I used not to respond to kids in that way. I used not to respond to her in that way. But something was, until I sat with her, said, I realized something is different from the time my uncle was murdered. It had an effect on me, and the effect was very clear from my family members. So when I had a meeting with a man, the extraordinary gentleman I told you, I was able to talk about how I was feeling. And I realized I started behaving differently because I got a platform not to fix me, not to give me solutions, but men were willing to listen to what I was going through and affirm and confirm. And they were able to give me a platform of expressing how I was feeling. And I realized something, because I was aware, things started changing because I now became aware. So if I didn't get that platform, or there was nothing like that platform, I was going to keep victimizing or causing, because you see, hurting people hurt people. I know you have heard this statement. But a man that has emotions that have not found expression, they will hurt others through the way they talk, through the way they approach. They will hurt others at workplaces. They will hurt others. They are rough, even on the road. You see them, they are very rough. Just a simple scratch, someone gets out a pistol and is intending to shoot another. And you think, because some emotions have not found expression, just a scratch by a border, someone gets out and beats another to pulp. Why? Because they are now finding expression of their emotion through a different approach. So we have this process must involve acknowledging emotions without judgment. And we understand these sources of these emotional triggers. Increases, I have been handling SGBV sessions. Those are sex, gender-based violence cases in court where men have been abusing their family members. Most of them come from no one wants to understand what the man is going through. No one wants. And like I said earlier, hurting people, they hurt other people. So for us to help society get out of this, we must begin talking about these matters. I see my time is running out. I need to finish this. The last thing that I picked from this is, how do we devise practical strategies for healing and seeking support? One, how do we help men to seek professional help? Like I said, a man would rather pay 1 million than go to a counselor or seek help. How do we engage, start creating platforms where men will begin opening up? Conversations with trusted friends, build networks. How do we take those vital steps towards healing? How do we begin recognizing that seeking help for men is a sign of strength, to empower them take control of their mental health journeys? Because it's going to be a journey, and the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, and that step is creating a platform where men can share what they are going through. So
Mr. Arthur, are you still with us? We have kind of lost you.
As we wait for him to come back,
we need to begin.
You're back, dear Arthur? Is he back?
I think his network is having issues.
I realize I don't know. Could I be back now?
Yes, you are. You can go ahead.
Okay, but also I needed to let me end with this. How do we get men to talk? Let's create a platform where men will talk. Alan, give me the last slide, and then I will our pledge, my pledge. I commit to speak up, to reach out and support other men. What is your commitment? As a man on this platform who has attended this webinar, or a person, what is your pledge? What is your commitment? Let's reaffirm the journey towards resilience, wholeness, and courageous masculinity. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arthur, for this informative session. And we are sorry, I know you had more to say, but because of the time, we had to cut you a little bit short. Dear members, please, this webinar presentations will be shared with you via email. We send out end of webinar session emails later on, at least the day after. So all this information will be available to you. Thank you again, Mr. Arthur. As Mr. Christian prepares himself, we're going to be moving to the next session, which is going to be about building resilience and strategies for men when it comes to mental health. So I hope, Mr. Christian, you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready. Yes,
Okay.
good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Good
hear.
morning, Christian. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'll be following your slides, Alan. Alan, should I go ahead?
Please do. You can start off with the
Okay.
introduction.
Okay. So my name is Christian Mugarura Mafijili. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a member of ADAM. ADAM is anti-drug and alcohol abuse movement. It was founded by a group of individuals that went through certain mental health challenges and are now have overcome. And I'm also a member of a fellowship, a Christian fellowship. It's called Springs of Renewal Christian Fellowship. It's for men. We meet every Saturday in Kololo. And I'm also a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, which are groups that are support groups that help people in recovery. Those who are struggling with substance abuse disorders and alcohol abuse disorders. Yes, so my core work is in communications. I'm a communications professional and also an artist. I'm also a recovery coach who helps people who are struggling with substance abuse disorders. So I think we can move on to the next slide, which is building resilience, strategies for men in mental health. Could we move to the next slide, please? So the introduction, you see here, mental health is crucial for your well-being. Yes, for men, of course, this is vital because we have to be on the top of our games in our professional careers and also in our academic work. We have to really be at the top of our game. Of course, the previous speaker has touched, Mr. Arthur touched quite a bit on mental health and the statistics around mental health in Uganda, which I wouldn't want to go back into. But of course, there's one big point I want to highlight, which is 75% of the suicides recorded in 2024 are of men. So out of 100, 75% of them were men. So why is this so? Because we all live in the same society as women, and women are, in actual sense, a higher demographic. They are 3 times more than the men. So men are, of course, studies have been done. Men are more likely to commit suicide because of societal pressures than the women. And the age group that is vulnerable to this is the men between 15 and 29. The leading causes and factors, of course, substance abuse, unemployment, post-traumatic stress disorder, and societal pressure to suppress emotions. As you all know, we have cultural norms here that discourage emotional expression. And I don't think there's any tribe where it is encouraged for men to come out and talk openly about their emotions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but me being from a tribe of Bachiga in Western Uganda, that is the last thing people expect of you. And the limited mental health services, especially in rural areas, we have only one mental health referral hospital in Uganda, which is meant to cover a population of close to 50 million people. And this population alone cannot be, covered with this. I know there are 18 other regional referral hospitals, but they also lack the facilities to handle mental health cases. And even the mental health professionals are few. So when you look at the ratios between doctor, patient, or psychiatrist and psychologist versus the patient ratio, it's still quite low. So these are areas that need improvement. I think you can move to the next slide, Alan. So back to the topic of building resilience. What is resilience? This is the ability to bounce back from stress, adversity, and trauma. I hope everyone understands what trauma is. It's an event because people go through different forms of trauma. There is subtle trauma, and then there is having major trauma, which could be a major event in your life. So examples of trauma could be even financial loss. You could go have a business, you're trying to create your business, and then you lose all your money. And you also could lose a job. You could lose employment. That's also a form of trauma. You could also lose a loved one. That's a form of trauma. You could go through separation. That's a form of trauma. You could also have physical injury through accident. That's also another form of trauma. You could be robbed. That's another form of trauma. You could be working in a war situation. That's also trauma. So there are various types of trauma. You could also be going through physical or sexual abuse, even emotional abuse. That's also another form of trauma. So considering all these variations of trauma, it's very rare that a human being, let alone a man, goes through life without experiencing any one of these. So again, back to resilience. It is the ability to adapt, to recover, and grow stronger through life's challenges, through the stresses and the traumas. I want to highlight on the part of recovery. Recovery is, for me, my understanding, seeking safety. So somebody who is trying to recover, they're normally trying to find a safe haven, especially like also had a place to try to express their ignorance. So you'll find that the more safe places we have, the more likely we're going to have more success in building resilience in people. So places like fellowships, groups that are not necessarily, I'm really against the drinking groups, so I prefer you have some sort of groups that are helping to build you, to develop you. Maybe an investment club or a Christian group, depending on your religious affiliation. Back to the issue of stress. Stress, I would like to separate it or to break it down into anxiety and depression. Anxiety in the sense of you're anticipating something that hasn't happened and you're worried about it, which is a big factor in causing mental health issues, especially in the modern world we're living in. We live in a lot of uncertainty. We live in a new form of economy where we rely on contracts. You'll find very little employment that is permanent. So a lot of people go through these ups and downs, financial ups and downs in life without even realizing it. So that level of anxiety of not knowing will the contract be renewed, or will I get a new contract, or will I get a new client, that is where a lot of people struggle. And I'll be sharing with you different coping mechanisms, how you can deal with this. And that will help to provide solutions. So again, on building resilience, number one, these are the core concepts: staying safe and respecting yourself. Staying safe, I think, in the sense of internally, in your mind, when you are building dialogue, in your mind, to be compassionate towards yourself and not to have a harsh attitude towards yourself or whatever you're going through. And then another coping strategy, rather than using substances to manage pain or raw emotions, you would rather create a circle of friends or a circle of confidence that you can rely on, especially for men. You know, women, normally they have about 15 people they can easily call at any one time when they have a problem. But for men, we tend to be closed. We do not open up, we do not express our issues. I don't know where this attitude came from, that if you say your problems, you are looked at as weak. So normally men, we don't share our issues. So I would like to challenge some of the people attending this webinar to create a small circle of friends, at least 2-3 friends that you can confide in, not to have shallow conversations, because we also tend to have a lot of shallow conversations. As men, we will talk about football, we know all the players in a team, we know all the people who have won championships, but you don't talk about what you went through during the week at work, what type of relationships you have at work with your colleagues, or what type of how the relationship is at home with the wife or the children or with the parents. So yeah, you tend to have a challenge there, and you'll find that we, because of this lack of communication, we tend to find ourselves in a situation which is, you are trying to rely on your own information and to rely on your own thinking to solve the problem. Yet there's a saying that two heads is better than one. Moving on to the next, learning to trust self people. I think in some of the groups that I attend, we have rules. Some of these rules are: one, anonymity. The second rule is it's a non-judgmental space. So we talk about issues, different issues, and we look at them not in a critiquing way, but in a way that we will try to provide solutions. So even if I was the cause of the problem, how can I be helped? If I do not know how to, if I do not know how to deal with a certain issue, how will I solve it? So in these groups, you'll find that friends there, you will share the problem. I think subconsciously the mind registers it. Sometimes you find it's like you're advising yourself when you're sharing a problem. Yeah, you could have the information, but you kept it to yourself. So it's buried somewhere deep in your mind. But when you share it, somehow it comes out and you register it. And even then, a friend can tell you, you know what, I've also been going through this. I've been going through this challenge. I had a similar challenge, and this is what I did. So, yeah, this tends to help out in the groups, and people find solutions there. Then never giving up on the recovery. I see, especially in substance abuse, when someone gets addicted to substances, we have also what they call a slow suicide. Someone can decide to drink themselves to death or neglect their health while drinking. They tend to neglect what everything, even the mental health. So the way you deal with such individuals is by you keep taking them for the treatment. If you look at substance abuse as an equivalent, if you look at it like cancer, a cancer patient, you can't tell a cancer patient that, you know what, I'm tired, we are all tired, we are not going to look after you. Yet the cancer is still there. So it's the same issue with substance abuse. We need to look at it like a disease, not a social problem or a societal problem, or that the person who has the disease has a problem. So you need to look at it in that sense that that the person actually has something that is a medical condition. Right now, addiction is recognized as a disease officially by the World Health Organization. So those still treating it as a societal norm, I think that's a challenge. And even the language that we use, especially when we're handling people with substance abuse disorders, you will find that it's stigmatizing. So one way of breaking the stigma is by making sure you use positive language rather than stigmatizing language. So, for example, if someone is trying to stop, this, I think, also to the wives who might be attending, might have a husband who is trying to stop, and then you, instead of trying to correct him, saying, why can't you just be like the other one, or why can't you just stop, or why can't you do this and that, that is stigmatizing language. The person will just rebel. It will cause rebellion. So if you use compassion and understanding and also acceptance that this is a disease, you are more likely to get results than when you use the harsh kind of language. So what are the other practical strategies, especially for whatever mental ailment you might be struggling with, well, be it depression, be it anxiety, there are things like journaling, especially for people struggling with anxiety. If you plan out your days, your weeks, you'll find yourself less anxious. If you plan out your finances, if you have the cash flow, that is, if you have the income, you need to know what is happening. You plan out your finances, you'll find that you are less anxious about them, or you write them down. I have another group I am part of, another recovery group called Daters Anonymous. People who struggle with dating, people who like borrowing a lot of money, which also causes a lot of anxiety and stress in our society today. You can join a support group like that. They are now available in Kampala. You'll find that you'll get tools from these support groups where you'll find that they'll make you write down all your income. They'll make you write down all your they'll make you write all your income and all your expenses, and how they'll make you create a spending plan. So this normally helps people to recover out of debt. They'll make sure you also stop maybe under earning. If you're under earning and it's leading you into debt, you'll be forced to get a mentor, a business mentor. You'll be forced to get an invoice book, a receipt book. So whatever clients you get, you have to register them and invoice them. Sorry to digress, but another practical commitment to recovery is looking out in your community. What are the resources available for support? I've given you highlights on Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Data's Anonymous, and also Christian fellowships for those who are Christian. For example, Springs of Renewal Fellowship. All these resources are available. Some of these fellowships are over 20 years old in Uganda, and the fellowship I'm part of, the Christian one, I'm part of, the Christian the Christian fellowship that I'm part of is 12 years old. So moving on to more strategies on building resilience. There's expressing your emotions, of course, through journaling. You can also use a voice recorder to record yourself and listen to yourself. If you have a voice recorder on your smartphone, you could have a diary, write how you're feeling. I could also recommend a book by Dr. Nicole Lapera, How to Meet Yourself. I read this book. It's a very wonderful book. It has practical exercises within the book, which can help you on a daily basis to become more aware of your emotions. On a daily basis, you have to ask yourself how you're feeling about different situations, what you're planning to do about those situations. And I want to summarize. I have a little time left. Looking after your physical health, exercising, having good sleep. Of course, these have been repeated time and again. They have been repeated time and again by endless. I'm sure if you follow speakers online, these have been now sung like a song. So, so you'll find that people know this, but why aren't they practicing this? You'll find people lack the commitment, they lack the resilience to stay committed to the goal. So how to find the motivation? Sometimes motivation is not there. You just have to do. So whether it is exercise, whether it is sleep, you just have to take action. What is the action? You know, what is the action that you need to take if you need to do the exercise? You just have to do it. There is no motivation. So maybe just to go back, Alan, to complete the last points on the slide. So the call to action. Okay, yeah. I know I'm running out of time. Let's encourage everyone to speak out and not fear judgment, but also look for safe groups, safe havens, and safe fellowships where you can access, friends of like mind. We're encouraging also people, who have the resources or who have the connections to expand the mental health resources and to partner with local organizations like ourselves. We are trying to put these services out for free, but we find a challenge in resources, financing. Some of you guys in the private sector could easily come in and assist. We are always relying on foreign aid to help us in such endeavors. I am encouraging local private sector people, please. When you see someone asking for a donation or requesting you to assist, do not look at it like it's a problem, because we are relying on you now more than ever, especially after the USAID cuts. Let's advocate. Let each one become an advocate in our homes, which will trickle down to the communities. So you will find, if you again stop using stigmatizing language at your home, use more of compassion, you'll have more results, especially towards men. The wives, the mothers, the sisters, please let us try to bear with the men. And also there's an issue that even Council Arthur had highlighted on. There is a problem of having a lack of contentment. There is so much pressure in society to achieve. Let us learn to be content with what we have, knowing our circumstances as a country. Yes. So with that, I would like to thank you, everyone, and it's been an honor being part of this, being called here to talk to you guys. I really appreciate. And remember, again, resilience starts with breaking the silence. Let's find more safe places. Let's create more fellowships. Whoever has space at home, please create a fellowship. You allow your community members to come in and to be able to express themselves. Let's keep together and let's reduce the suicide rates and let's have healthier men in Uganda. So thank you again, Mr. Moderator Alan, for conducting this. And yeah, that's a picture of me in one of the secondary schools in Kampala talking about the same issue. This one was more on building resilience through faith. You could also do that if you know the Bible very well. You could, I challenge some of you to look for verses that will help you build resilience through faith. And thank you again for allowing me to be part of this. And I hope you'll invite me for more of these sessions. Thank you. And I think this, okay, I see where to get help. Yes, we do have counselors on call. I also see Mental Health Uganda, which is a very good advocate and a big advocate. That one, they are having toll-free lines. And then also their apps, Talkspace, Calm, Headspace. There's also Sober Buddy for those who are struggling with substance abuse disorders. There are community groups, Men's Sheds, Free Your Mind, Hive. You could also contact me if you want to join the Springs of Renewal Fellowship and also to join any other support groups. I could add you to their WhatsApp groups. It's all free of charge. You do not have to pay anything, any membership fee. So thank you.
The driver is like the students. Very. Hey, thank you. I like what you were saying.
Thank you so much, Mr. Christian, for that engaging presentation. For those that have just joined, we are sorry that we had to cut some of the presentation short due to time, and we wanted to get into the Q&A session for questions and answers, for provide feedback, people that have provided questions. We'll let Miss Mandy Edigold. I think she has collected some of the questions. I have only one so far on my end. I didn't see any other. But yes, this is going to be for the Q&A session. Thanks again, Mr. Christian. And before we head into the Q&A, there's one thing I'd like to share. So,
Alan.
I just wanted to highlight just a few things and add just a few additions to the presenters that I've just finished recently. Well, for the men that have been having challenges coming out about their mental health, here are some examples of men in other communities or within our communities that have spoken up boldly about their challenges. We have Dwayne Johnson, for those who know him as The Rock. He was struggling with depression, and from his quotes, as you can see, depression never discriminates. It got me, you are not alone. He had some challenges. He struggled with depression following his mother's suicide attempt, and including his football career coming to an end. And he was very open about it. So remember, you may be there alone, suffering, and you feel you don't have someone to talk to, and maybe you think you're the only one, which is not true. Other men and women and other people in the community do face challenges mentally with their mental health, sorry. And there are those that have come out boldly to the public to speak about it. We have had people like Kid, who is a rapper, probably some of you may not know him, but his fans were caught by surprise when he decided to check himself into a rehab when he was having suicidal and depression thoughts and urges in 2016. Many thought he was this happy guy that never failed, but actually, when deep inside, he was struggling. Then recently, in one of the sessions by an organization in Uganda called Strong Minds, when they were having one of their sessions, therapy groups, a competitor came out and said, I used to think pain made me weak. Now I know speaking up does the opposite. So we have so many men who have remained silent, and in doing so, it has only hurt them even deeper. That's all I wanted to share on before Miss Monday takes on the next session for the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our moderator, Alan. And I picked a few questions, and others are allowed also to put up their hands and ask questions directly in case you are not able to put it into the chat. One of the questions I picked up is from Mary, and it's about identifying a trusted friend. I don't know whether Arthur, you want to answer that, or I can go ahead and answer it. Arthur, over to you.
I could build up from there. If you could first give maybe that, then maybe I could build up from where you'd have.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Trust, I can just say that trust is built over time. You don't wake up one day and trust a friend. And we have signs where you can be able to identify someone you can call a friend. You look at their consistency in their lives. You look at their willingness to be vulnerable to you when you are talking. When you are speaking, you see how they are validating you. You have to see that it is not someone who is used to gossiping, because if someone is a gossiper, you know that they'll be able to say whatever you'll tell them, and you have also to check if they are also respecting, if there is respect between the two. So how do you identify? You have to observe the behavior over time. You can also talk to people and see and get referrals to people you can speak to. You can take your time. You don't rush to trust somebody. You test the waters. You can tell them something, and then you see if it is that, if they have spread it, or it's something they have kept. You can talk to you can set someone to see if that person can tell them what you have told them in your circles, and also trust your instincts. If you are speaking to somebody and you feel that that's not the person to talk to, immediately you stop. You don't continue. You can find a way of stopping it. But in case you don't have that friend, in case you don't have that group to, the groups at church, the groups of orgies, in case you don't have that closeness where you can open up, please seek professional help. Find other support groups like Free Mind Hive. We are giving back to society because we have experience with mental health. So when we speak, we are speaking out of experience, not out of training, but out of what we've gone through. And we have come up with what we call a community group. Alan will be sharing would be sharing the link on that community group. You don't have to know anybody. You just keep on sharing, and we answer questions on daily. We share experiences on daily. So I encourage you to join that group. We shall also be able to see how that group can be joined to our YouTube channel, but we have a YouTube channel. Then that is the online communities, and also try to start to help others. When you hear someone has a challenge, you try to help them through helping you learn, and you find a way of creating your own support group. So I would request Arthur to add on that. Or someone has said, truth is what? It is hard to make new friends in the 30s and the 40s. Yes, I do agree. That's why we are saying support groups. If you join the support group, you don't have to be friends with anybody, because in the support group we are doing we do a lot of peer exchanges, and you don't have to know somebody there, but with time you get to have like a new family. You join a church group, or at the mosque if there is such a group, and you find that you are people of the same sort of thinking, and it will be able to help. Over to you, Arthur.
Thank you. Finding a trusted person, a group like everyone is saying, is not easy. But the starting point is to begin looking out. When you trust your instincts, normally they don't get you wrong. When you get in a group of 100 people, your eyes will show you someone that is trusted. From the way they behave, we have different temperaments. Normally, people that are your temperament, you might not connect with them so easily, but there's a temperament that will attract you, or something that will make you confide or trust in someone, but also give it time. Don't be in a hurry to trust. Build the connection over time. And if that also becomes hard, like Eddie Gold was saying, look out for professionals. If, for example, you come to Free Mind Hive, maybe there is no any other connection, you're coming to get that professional touch from a trusted, from a reliable and professional body or group. But to get to trust someone is also not that simple. But you better try it than just saying there is no one can be trusted. It's like how you say, how do I find a good wife or a good husband? They are not in any market, but you have to keep putting your heart in there to look out for the possible match. There is no one that is saying this is fit for this, but you keep building that trust, credibility, and to find a person is authentic. There are people that are authentic, the way they are handling their lives, the way they are handling their matters, the way they treat you, the way they respond to you. You really see there is that confidentiality in them. So I think we don't have fast and hard rules for finding a trusted person. We are not there, but we have to try nevertheless, because the healing, the help is in saying, I need help, I need to find help, and let me try building that helping system that I need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Arthur. The other question, there's another question that came in. How do you find safe spaces? I think the safe spaces, we've talked about the way to find the trusted friends, but there are these groups that we have where you can join, and when you find people opening up, you have the same thought, you have the same challenge, and you find that group where you're you're sharing with peers, it becomes a safe space. But also, again, remember there's professional help. And we do believe that the professional help is a safe space. And that's why some of us are there to provide that safe space. Free Mind Hive, you've had our chairman, Arthur Yorichire, talking about the different groups that they have at church. We have these other companies like Uganda Mental Health that has a toll-free line where you can call in. You can find them on their website. So these are the places where you can be able to find the safe spaces. And there was also a comment that girls are taking boys, and I think really ASA has done justice to that. What it brought, it is culturally, like it was culturally, you find that a girl was treated a different way and the boy was treated differently. And by the way, either side, it didn't do good to any. A woman was left behind while a boy was advanced. When we were growing up, people used to really think that women should not go beyond a certain level of class, of training, and yet they would look for money to advance boys. So that you find that a lot of women were denied that chance. Now, when it came up, then now it has been overemphasized and boys have been left out. But I'm happy that there are other groups that have come up. And that's why even in Rotary, we have a whole program of boy child, to lift the boys up. So we need to balance. We need to balance. Yes, Alan, people are asking for the link to the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel as Free Mind Hive. If you type in Free Mind Hive, you'll be able to get us on YouTube. You'll be able to get us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on the social platform, but we shall be able to share the link. And as I said, we have a community where we share these we have exchanges on daily basis. I want also, before I leave, I want to thank my friends from Ghana who have joined here. Yes, Leslie, we are going to add you to the group. I have my friends who have joined us from Rwanda. Please, thank you so much. You are always welcome to join us. And those who have joined, of course, from Uganda, it is always a pleasure having you. In case I've skipped any question, Alan, you can advise, but you are also free to put up your hand. Alan, are people able to to raise their hands and talk?
Yes, this is an open session, so they can raise their hands or they can post their questions in the chat room and we shall address them appropriately.
Yes.
In case you need to speak, just raise your hand or unmute yourself and introduce yourself, then you can speak. Thank you.
If you go to the bottom of the Zoom, you'll see one of the icons which has react. So when you go, you place there, you'll be able to raise your hand. But feel free to unmute yourself and speak, please. Is there any question I've left behind? Oh, there's someone who said that I would say it is much easier to talk about other things than talking about my hardships. Most of the time, it feels like I'm being a burden. So we are saying there are ways. First of all, I had tried to answer it within there. Reframe your thinking. You are not a burden to anybody. And don't feel that way. But since it is a feeling, we do appreciate, and you are not alone. But we are saying, remind yourself that your feelings and experiences are valid. Your feelings and experiences are valid. Remember that sharing is not a weakness. Sharing your challenges can be a sign of strength, not weaknesses. And there could be other people who are willing to help. Just try, like Arthur has said, there's no market where you're going to get this trusted friend, but just try. And if someone breaks the trust, let the burden be on that person. Of course, you'll be let down, but because you'll have shared, it might help you in the long run. So choose the right time and place when you want to talk to people. Do not call them like in their busy times, but I also encourage us that when even someone calls you in the busy time, sometimes it's really burning and it is just a second, maybe to help someone regain themselves. So we need to look out this business of canceling calls. You better pick a call and say, is it urgent? I'm right now busy. Is it urgent? And then you hear what the other person says. If he says it's urgent and you really feel, because when someone is saying it's urgent, you can really feel their voice, you feel it in their voice, then you can excuse yourself where you are and help a person step into another hour. People have regretted having not answered emails, phone calls from friends. Then we need to find a way of presenting our challenges. If you can, start with a positive tone, start a conversation with a positive tone, and then at somewhere in the middle, after gaining the courage and also assessing the atmosphere, you can be able to start an honest open up and use the I statements. Just I, don't say other people. When you start say other people, when you start referring to someone else, not you, the person might might lose interest. And be specific. I can give an example. You can, for instance, say, hello, I wanted to talk to you about something that has been on my mind lately. I've been feeling overwhelmed. You can mention a challenge. Maybe I've been feeling overwhelmed with anxiety, with financial issues. People normally fear talking about financial issues and hearing them. But please listen to, if you don't even have the money, listen to them. And just because you have given an ear and at the end of the day you sympathize, become empathetic, it might help somebody to find a way of looking for someone else who can. Just know that we all deserve support and understanding from others. So let's try. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Edgold. Are there any others that would like to ask any questions or would like to share anything informative or share their story? You are welcome. And aside from that, I see a lot of people asking us to add them to their WhatsApp group. We currently do not have a WhatsApp group, and the reason why Freemind Hive chose Telegram was mostly for security purposes and also the features Telegram brings when it comes to public, as they are more and much more better than us. Secondly, ability for new members who have joined the group can access historical information all the way back from the time the group was started, which is not possible on WhatsApp. Thirdly, the capability to share large files of up to more than 4 GB size, meaning we can share larger videos, we can share larger files, we can even have community calls of more than 1,000 people. So our decision to choose Telegram was based on some of those reasons. But yes, we shall take your suggestions to have WhatsApp or channel, as I've noted it down. But currently, we are using Telegram because it has and offers more better features currently right now. So again, sorry for that. Anyone else that has questions or any of the panelists that want to add anything to any of the previous questions, please go ahead.
Should I say something? Thank you so much. I sent a question on the platform, and I was asking about a community leader. You know, it's hard and sincerely hard to care for a hyper schizophrenic person who is not willing to open up for help or even to speak up that they have an issue, and yet they are on medication. And it is affecting a whole community, their family, the political community, the church, and friends. And people are silent, even those that have discovered there is a problem. They've decided to be silent because they don't want to break trust. And so they are too proud, maybe proud or something to speak up or unable to speak up. So how do we help such a person? That was my question.
I think Ms. Edgott could take that on, hopefully.
Oh, sorry, I was speaking and I didn't know I had muted myself. Taking care of a person with mental health challenges is not easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park. You only have to be really pray for yourself and be strong for that person. People keep quiet with fear of breaking the trust. But as we fear to break the trust, the person is really like worsening. So in my case, I had to look for the doctors. I had to talk to. That's what is very important, to have really support group. I have my family. I would call them and cry when things would be so tough on me. They would come in, try to help, but it's not easy. It's not easy. But what I encourage you to do is to make sure that that person gets to a professional person, the doctors. Because once the doctors manage their situation, you can be able to talk to them. But when they are still hyper, even if you sweet talk, the person might not listen. And I'm saying might not listen because in some cases, somehow, somewhere, God does wonderful things. In some cases, there's that little turn in the mind where the person says, what? And listens. But sometimes it fails. So I seek professional interventions. Make sure that you don't keep quiet. Find where to ask to get the help. But it's not easy. I'm telling you, I have an experience. It's not easy. I think Christian would like to add something on that. Go ahead.
Yes, Edigo, thank you for that. Sorry, I was traveling for a burial, so that was the noise behind. But on what you have said, that is really, really important. I can equate somebody struggling with trying to treat somebody at home with a mental health issue to trying to repair your vehicle at home, yet you have a mechanic. So would you rather try to repair your own vehicle, or would you rather take it to a mechanic? So in my own case, if it wasn't for my sisters, I don't think I would be alive today because I was struggling with depression and substance abuse disorder. And they took me to Butavika while I was fighting, and I told them I'm not mad, I'm not this, I'm not that. But right now, I thank God every day for them and for having taken me to Butavika. I thank God for institutions like that and for the way they treated me. I thank God for other mental health professionals I've met along the way. This happened to me it's about 15 years ago, but I still thank God up to today. I don't think I would be speaking to you today if it wasn't for their being able to see that the only way they could give me help was to take me to a mental referral hospital. Of course, there was a lot of stigma at the time, but I've learned to use it as a shield rather than hiding it. I tell people openly that, me, I went to Butavika, I had this problem, and now I'm okay. And it has helped me to overcome the stigma, especially in different places. So thank you again for that remark.
Thank you so much. Have you?
Person is on medication, but never opens up.
Okay, Anna, go ahead. Anne, go ahead.
No, I was saying the person is on medication, but they never open up to their family. So it's like he's taking medication. We don't know from where, but the family is not informed. The wife just struggles with the backlash, the mood swings and the anger, whatever. Like the children are affected. Too much information is given to them, which should not adult information, and they are all affected mentally. It's like this person is on medication, but not like, it's like touch not, you can't touch him. Nobody can, like the family can't, everybody can't. It is he alone that manages himself, manages the community, manages the, we don't know. Maybe, I don't know the best way to help everybody.
I'm sorry to hear that, Anne. And it can be quite challenging, especially when it is an adult and an adult in a certain position, like a head of family or an influential person. It's hard to really, really, really bring them down to that level. But I encourage that the caretakers seek professional help so that you are able to know how to handle such a person. Because even the caretakers need constant I mean, they need to be advised on how to handle such a person. I think Christian talked about re-stigmatizing someone or re-traumatizing someone. Maybe there are some words that also re-traumatize that fellow that are being said in the family. So the caretakers also need to get help. When we are having when we are talking about these communities, we should be having a community for those who are having the challenge and the community for those who are the caretakers, so that we share exchanges. But a professional help can help, a professional person can help the family to know how to handle that person, and maybe with time, that person can be helped to get to open up or to get to the doctors. Maybe one will be able to identify where he goes and the other person talked to. But it's quite a challenge.
Can I add something? Unless I didn't get it right, but Anne says the person is on medication. But then it said the family doesn't know. So how do we know, those who know, that the person is on medication and who is administering that medication? If I got that one correctly, can we now go to the base road? Who is administering medication? What is the conversation between that person administering medication and the sick person? Maybe we need to go back to the root cause there to that person. If that person who gave the medication is a professional doctor, we need, if the man is married, like you have said, the wife, the wife has to go to that doctor and say, really, I want to know, I want to be part of this medication. Maybe they can help. Those are the professional help we are looking for. Otherwise, we have, as Edgar has said, we have dealt with such situations. In the end, you people in the home become enemies, while outside the home, they are good. So sometimes you try to get people outside the home, yeah, to talk to your person, because relatives become enemies, and through the support system, outsiders now try to understand they are better. The patient thinks that you relatives, you're not doing much, the outsiders are doing much. Now, in the outsiders, we have incorporated doctors. They are the doctors, the professional people that have helped us. The people that talk, those people who know mental health well, they have helped us talk. So I think there's something that must be done more, maybe. But if it's not, if you think you have done a lot, there is nothing that a lot, especially when you are dealing with mental health issues, it can never be a lot. You continue to try and try and try. For those who are Christians, they add up, pray and pray and pray. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Justin is also a board member on Free Mind Hive, and we thank you for your participation. And we shall pick out your email and continue to talk and see how we can help one another. As I said, I'm a caretaker. I've gone through quite a lot, but the support that I've gotten professionally, family, somehow, somewhere, we have managed to move on. So we shall pick out your email, and we'll be able to talk more. Thank you so much. Yeah, you've shared. I've seen Alan was discouraging us from sharing numbers on this chat, but I pray that we shall be safe. Now, there's another question. There's another comment. Someone said, that I talk about broken marriages as a cause of mental health challenges. Yes, broken marriages can indeed contribute to mental health challenges for individuals involved. Remember when we said there's this saying that when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. And sometimes it is not only the grass that suffers, but it's also the two elephants that are fighting also suffer. One can go back with a broken ivory trunk, injuries. There are so many injuries that come up with broken marriages. The emotional distress and trauma associated with marital breakdown can also have a significant impact on mental well-being. So depression comes up, anxiety. It's a very traumatizing, especially children. Children are too young to understand why they don't have the two parents with them in the same house, why the father and the mother fight, why the father is crying, why the mother is crying. The children are just so confused, and this creates a big issue in their mind. They might not show it at that time, but it builds slowly. In earlier on, I wrote in the chat that emotions are they are like water. They would always find a way of coming out. And the way they come out, they can erupt like Kampala floods. I put it somewhere in the chat, in the comment. So somehow these emotions, it builds up. It's like we liken it with a computer that has a hard disk. You keep on saving. You don't see where you're saving in the meantime. Those days when we had these ones which had smaller gigabytes. So within time, you just see it saying disk full. So when the disk is full, you have to delete. But with emotions, it's very difficult to delete. That's where we are coming up to share to share experiences, to share what one can do, so that we are able to support each other, to be productive in society, to be of use in our communities, and to be able to be also be better citizens where we are. So when there is that conflict and strength and stress, it can take a toll on mental health for all those that are involved. We need a support system. When we are going to marry, we always call so many people to attend weddings. But unfortunately, when it is a separation, when it is a divorce, it happens just between the two people, and those onlookers will be laughing at them, and those onlookers will be just talking behind their back. Please, people, let's stop talking behind people's backs. If we can't help, it's better we keep quiet. I want to give you my own example. I separated from the father of my children when I was one, and people got to know that. So one time I love myself, so I used to buy myself very good lunch. So I didn't know that in the meantime, where I was, there were people who were interested in seeing what I eat. So someone just said, that one eats what she wants. Maybe she doesn't even have the children with her. Meanwhile, I had my children with me. They didn't know. They started talking until someone was very courteous enough and came and told me that, you know what, these people down, when they see you doing this, that you eat liver and chips and you do that, they say all this and this and that. Sometimes this rumor is not good, but it depends on how you use it. So as I was withdrawing some money, I knew that someone they were talking about. Then someone said, Eddie Gold, you have finished money from your account. Then I was like, I used the Ruganda word. I might not know how to say it, but I said, we take our own decisions. So it was a lashback to them. Was it the right thing? No, but that's how I could protect myself. So from that time, because I said, those girls stopped talking about me because they knew I put it out there that I'm a single mother. So let's not talk about people. If we can't support them, just keep quiet. It causes broken marriages. They lead to financial stress. You find that someone is is strong financially, and the other one is not. And normally, the one who has tends to hurt the other one. How can he? She can't do without me. He can't do without me. So we need to look out for that. But the best thing, if anyone is going through such, the best thing is to agree on a co-parenting methodology where the two adults sit and say, yes, this is what happened. We can't be together. Let us agree to disagree, but live in harmony for the sake of our children. So what am I trying to drive at? That as at the time when we are going to marry, we call so many people. At the time of separation, let us get people involved to guide us on how best we can separate but stay friends. We don't separate to create enmity, and that's why people follow the others to kill them. Anger, even in the Bible, it is said, it is talked about. Anger is the worst thing you can think about. So it leads to social isolation. Bananda babatia, how will people look at me? People are knowing, and even in the places of work, when they know that you have separated, they tend to look down on you because you have failed. Failing in marriage is not failure. It's just people have failed to grow together. People grow apart. So people, they shouldn't bring in that thing of failure. And all those words affect the people. So we need support. If you are going through such, if you know a friend is going through such, they need to seek support. Look for therapy, look for support groups, look for friends and families, and also there has to be self-care. Remember, healing is possible, but it needs time. It needs self-care, and individuals can heal and move forward. You can heal from situations. I'm talking about a broken marriage. Before it breaks someone down, you can be able to move, seek help. Seeking help, as I said earlier, is a sign of stress, and you need to seek help. And just remember, you are not alone. You are not the first one to divorce. You are not the first one to separate. Just live a life so long as you can make sure that whatever is happening, the kids get enough help. But the most important thing I would talk about is encouraging cooperating. Over to you, Alan. If there is any other question I've missed, please feel free to unmute and talk about it. We have just 3 minutes to end this Zoom. Thank you so much. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you, Ms. Eddie Gold, and thank you for all those that have been actually were open enough to share some of their challenges and their stories, including those that shared questions that were thought-provoking. And again, thank you for the panelists that have taken us through this session. A last call, anyone who still has any questions or would like to share something, this is the last call before we have at least 3 minutes before we end this Zoom webinar. If there's anyone, please share in the chat room or you can unmute and speak up. There isn't. I'd like to conclude this session. And again, I'd like to thank everyone that showed up on time, those who were able to sign in later on. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend this webinar, to engage with other people, like-minded people, in strengthening your knowledge, and also for finding ways in helping our communities. And since no one else has suggested, I would like to close this session with a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for making it possible for us to be here today. We hope that this session has helped those that have joined in, and it would impact them to create even more broader impact in their families, in their communities, in their workplaces. And whatever it is that we have learned here today, let us put good use to it. Let us be intentional, seek out help, and also to be kind, compassionate, and most of all, loving to others that are going through challenges. We pray and believe this in Jesus' name. Thank you,
Amen
everyone.
and amen. Oh, I remember, please remember, we have these webinars on monthly basis. So we shall be posting them on our website. If you can go there, you'll be able to know when we are to have these webinars. We are giving free information. This is information you would go and pay for. So encourage people to come on board and listen in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Alan, can you pick up the numbers? Will you be able to pick up the numbers?
Pick